Hey everybody, this is Larry. This is me going over May 13th of the May Leetcode Daily Challenge. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, join me on Discord. Let me know what you think about today's problem. Ambiguous coordinates. So I usually stop these live, so it's a little bit slow. Fast forward, come back, or skip ahead, watch on 2x, whatever you need to do. The people who are very have eagle eyes might notice that I'm actually trying out Brave, a new browser. I have no affiliation. I have no referral or whatever. I'm just kind of, let me know if it looks a little bit funky or a little bit weird. Because I've been using Chrome for probably the last, 10 years now or something like that. Whenever it came out, was Firefox before that. I'd say it feels faster, but I don't know. Sometimes maybe it's just a lot of random things that is the case. But anyway, let me know what you think. Because one of my issues is that sometimes my computer hangs up because my Chrome is just doing too much for some reason. I mean, my computer's old, but it's not that old. Anyway, it's too much of a rant. But let me know. Anyway, today about your opinions. But today's problem is ambiguous coordinates. So you have two D coordinates. We remove all commas. That's one space. We ran up the string S. Return a list of string of possibilities that could be. Okay, so this is going to be some sort of so it's just one string, right? And you have to output all possibilities. So I mean, seems very very straightforward. I don't know why. Because this is a new browser. Maybe that's why I think. Oh, that's kind of so maybe now, for obvious reasons, my old problems I have to kind of look because there's no it's not in the JavaScript cache or cookie cache or whatever. I don't know what storage they store, but anyway, it's not that important. But yeah, this seems like it's going to be brute forceable. The interesting thing is that start length is only 12, but I think you just literally try every possibility. Yeah, because basically you have 3 delimiters, up to 3 delimiters, which is that, okay, for a string of, and you can probably skip the beginning and the end. I don't think it matters. I have to double check. Yeah, it doesn't matter. But basically you have a string that looks like this, and we can just ignore the whatever. We're going to ignore the parens. But yeah, so basically now you have a comma that could go between every space, possibly, maybe one at a time, obviously. But yeah, that would go well, maybe not the first place, but you get the idea. And then after that, there are also 2 periods, right? That could one on the first number and then one on the second number. And because of that, you have 3 delimiters. And length of the string is going to be 12, and they're like 11 spaces each or something like that, depending on. I don't know how they count the thing with respect to. So I guess there are only 10 real characters because this counts the parens itself. So there are going to be 10 real characters, and they're just 9 spaces in between all the things. Some of them are allowed, but you just kind of do a brute force of. You just kind of brute force everything, and then just check to see if it is possible with helper functions along the way. And I think that should be fast enough because there's going to be at most 9 spaces between 10 characters, and so it's 9 to the 9 cube. Roughly speaking, it's actually even less than that because it's like it's really constrained. For example, the periods will not be in the same in the same side of the comma and stuff like that. So I think that should be good. So let's kind of set up that for loop. And in this particular problem, it's not just returning the count. You have to return the string, and do they have to be sorted in any way? It could be returned in any order, so we're okay. So basically, yeah, let's set that up, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it. The idea, anyway. The implementation might be a little bit tricky, but that looks okay to me. I just have like one string to kind of make sure what it is. So we're gonna just remove the beginning and the end, the parens because it's not that interesting for us. And then now we're going to brute force the comma for comma index maybe in range sub n. Let's set n as well. Let's set it to new n, new s, and yeah. Then let's set it at 1. So then now we can split the string. And maybe this is n minus 1. I don't know, to make sure that it has one character. So then now you have, it's a coordinates. I'm going to use the word x and y, even though it may seem like I'm lazy with the naming. X and y makes sense for coordinates, I think. So yeah, x and y is equal to, and maybe there's a easier way to split it down something, but let's just say comma index, something like that. Let's print it out real quick because I'm always really bad at off by ones with these string indexing, because I always forget if it's inclusive or exclusive, or sometimes in other languages the with. So this is 1 and 2, so this is going to be a little, it's missing the, 1, 2, and it should be 2 different cores, 1 and, okay, this is a little bit off. Oh, whoops, this is, of course this is off, I missed a thing. Yeah, so that looks exactly what we want. Let's try actually, a bigger string, just real quick, because I'm really bad at off by one. So, so I am overcompensating a little bit, but testing along the way allows you to verify. I mean, obviously in real testing, you have like unit testing and stuff like that. But for me, like the same concept of testing it now along the way will, so that later on, if something comes up, I know that at least this part I already tested it, so it's going to be true. Okay, so this is exactly what we want. And then now we just go, maybe possible x equal to go of x, possible y's is equal to, let's just go get numbers, say, get numbers of y. And then now we can just do a cross product. I think this in Python there's probably a way to do it, but I'm going to just ignore that for now. And let's just print it out. Or like I'm going to do it manually and it's fine too. But I just print it out. But of course it's not going to print out anything. We have to do get numbers, which okay, now let's actually look at the rules, because I read it but I skipped it over, not gonna lie. I just know that we have to find a valid number. So there are no extra zeros. A decimal within a number never occurs without at least one digit occurring before it. So okay, let's just actually but this part may be a little bit messy in the if statements, but we can do it. But yeah, okay, so so the first thing is that, let me double check this. So I'm just checking the no period case. And the no period case is okay if so answers is equal to an array list. But so the no period case is good if it's not a leading zero, right? Okay. So if length of s is greater than 1 and s of o, or s of o is equal to 0, then so we want the not version of this, right? So if the length is equal to 1 or is not equal to 1, then we append s. This is basically saying, if there's not a leading 0, or if the length is 1, meaning that if the number is 0, then we can return this as an answer later on. And then now we're going to brute force the period a little bit. Yeah, same idea as we had before. So for period index, range of 1 and n. So yeah, so the period never appears before the first number. It can appear in the second number. Okay, let's actually change this real quick to have a helper. So leading 0 has leading 0 of s, and then we just change this to if this is greater than 1 and this is equal to 0, then it has a leading 0, right? So then now we can say if it does not have a leading 0, then we can use it as an answer. Otherwise, let's try all the periods. We're going to use the decimal part doesn't have any constraints, so I think we're okay here. Let me also double check that. Yeah, I just want to make sure that we don't put a period before the end. So yeah, so now you have the whatchamacallit, whole part, and the is it fraction decimal is equal to, that's same idea we had before. So this time is slightly easier to have confidence. Of course, I just have to make sure that I type the correct thing. But yeah, if has leading 0 of whole number, or if it doesn't have leading 0, then we're good. Then we enter that we could append this thing of whole dot decimal, right? Oh, what are trailing zeros? Never start with zeros. Oh, okay. So we have to check for trailing zeros as well. What is the and not 0.0 is also bad. So and 1.0 is bad. So that means that it always is going to be bad if the last digit is just 0. Is that true? Because that means that it is a I feel like we might get a few wrong answers here, but we'll see. And of course, this is actually easy because we don't have to worry about length, because, well, no, we have to do the same thing basically, because if it's one digit, then we don't care about it. Now, in this particular case, for the trailing, yeah, even if it has only one digit, we do not want it, because that means that it does not need to be x dot 0. So okay, I mean, this is only a guess. This is a little bit iffy. There's a lot of like rows that to be honest, maybe during a contest or during an interview more specifically, I might think about it a little bit longer, but I'm a little bit lazy. It's 3 a.m. here, so yeah, so this is generally the idea. So let's give it a spin real quick just to kind of see what these prints out. Invalid syntax. I have a typo somewhere. Oh, whoops, how did that happen? Oh, I copied and pasted. That's how it happened. But this should have, oh, because this n is a different n, so that's me being silly. So this is length of s, because this n is different than it should not carry the, I mean, it does carry the scope for that reason, but maybe it shouldn't. But okay, so this is the first number and this is the second number. Is that correct? I mean, obviously you have to do a Cartesian a cross product or Cartesian product, but I think this looks right, at least for this one. I mean, the second one, there's a long list, but it looks like everything is valid. There's no extra zeros, but that's because I don't do any extra zeros. So we should at least do a case with a lot of zeros. There might not be an answer for this one though. Let's actually just put these cases a little bit. And it's just 100 this last one. I mean, the last part is very easy to write, so maybe I should just write it, but it doesn't matter because like the expected answer is not in any particular order, so we might just get, you know, like it doesn't matter, right? Because it could be in any order. We cannot really eyeball it anyway. So okay, this looks, so 0011, it has no answer. Is that right? No, it has some answers, so So I might be having the wrong answer here. Let's just actually write out the answer. So yeah. So we just want a Cartesian product. Px for possible x. For p what? What are we printing here? Is this the string? Okay, so also I'm using f string, definitely recommended in general. Px, is that right? Is that the expectation? Okay, let's give it a go. Whoops. Oh, whoops. What am I doing? And I did it twice. What am I doing twice? Okay, so this looks good except for problem 3. So this should be good. So 0 is a good number. Why is... I don't know if the rest of the stuff matches, but this one is definitely a situation. Has leading 0. On the whole number, the trailing number doesn't really matter. So if this is length 1, it should be good no matter what on the whole side, and then the decimal has to just be anything. That's weird. Maybe. Let's print it out again. What are we seeing? Let's also real quick. So yeah, so definitely at least these test cases mean that we can debug it. Okay, I was looking at the wrong one here, but okay, 0 and 0.1, so that means that we should be able to put 0.011 in it. And also, well, now that's the only one with this case, and here it should also do 0.001, right? So what am I saying wrong here? Okay, I mean, guess it is what it sounds like. 0.001 is false, but why? Dun dun dun. Has that leading 0? And this would return false. Has trailing 0? Oh, this is -1. Whoops. I was thinking about I mentally copy and paste some leading zeros, even though I don't mean to per se. And it wasn't an actual copy and paste. It was just mentally I look at that as a code, and then okay. And now everything looks kind of good, even though the ordering is in a weird place. So, so yeah, let's see. So now let's remove our print statements real quick, and then we'll probably give it a spin. I'm going to sort this real quick. It doesn't change the answer, and we don't need to sort this for the answer, but I just want to see if we maybe match their answer if I sorted it. Maybe? It's unclear. But I also don't know if I have the right answer, because 112, I think we're okay here, unless I'm missing one. I think we just have them in a different order, maybe, because those looks like right numbers. So let's just give it a spin then. But the rest looks okay, I think. Just eyeballing. Wish they could, it was a length is easier, but all the other ones looks okay. So this one seems like it's there's not even any zeros, so it should be okay. The only thing that I seem to have trouble with is maybe 0. So let's give it a submit. Cool. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it wouldn't surprise me either way whether I need more, but it's just more test cases. I don't think conceptually there's anything hard about this. It's just implementation and just being careful and deliberate, and part of being deliberate means just more test cases. Okay. Let's see. So let's go over the complexity real quick. As we said, there are 3 for loops. I mean, within each of these, there's 1 for loop. So this is going to be just this part is going to be n square, and then here we construct this, which is also another n square inside the O of n. So this is going to be n cubed at most. Yeah, that's basically the time. For space, that is also kind of true, because in the worst case, I think in the one that in this case it'll be like about n square. I mean, it's actually way fewer than n squared directly, but it's going to be O of n squared. Oh, sorry, I keep on saying n squared. My bad. I meant n cubed. So it's going to be O of n cubed, even though in running time it's much faster, because it's going to be a lot faster than it's a lot faster than n cubed directly. Because there's like a it gets constrained in multiple ways, and at best is n choose 3, which is already an overestimation, and n choose 3 is like n cubed to over 6 or something like that, right? Depending on how you do the off by ones or whatever. But so yeah, yeah, that's all I have. The space is maybe a little bit more because it depends on how you want to count per character. But in this case, the n is so small that like given that it's 10, it's not a big deal. I think this is because this one is more implementation oriented, because they give you all the rules. There's nothing tricky about it per se. So that's why the code, I think I mean, you could say that maybe I like you could abstract these to libraries or something like that, and then have unit testing and stuff if you want to go like more on the code quality portion. But otherwise, for the most part, for something that you do in like 10 minutes, even though I took 20 minutes because of explanation / debugging, I think this is relatively clean. This is how I would lay out the code. There's some caveats with whatever, but in a very self-contained way, I think this is pretty good for the most part. I mean, there's like some inefficiencies here and there, but in terms of readability, I am okay and happy with it. Yeah, that's all I have for this problem. That's all I have for today. Let me know what you think. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button again, and also just stay good, stay healthy, have a great rest of the week, and I will see you later. Keep that mental health good. Bye bye.